In a complicated world where we are constantly given data and or information and which we are asked to process, it's fairly obvious that the human brain will develop some shortcuts, heuristics, or biases, right? So if you have read the book on behavioral finance of Thinking Fast and Thinking Slow, Thinking Fast by Daniel Kahneman, you would be familiar with all these biases, but it is nice to once in a while visit them. In fact, there are many books which I think Taleb even says, oh, this is nothing original, which is true. There is nothing original. All this has been spoken about in the past. But if somebody has taken the trouble to put everything together, there are such books which are available. I will not name them because I am not being very complimentary towards them. So you will see those biases, and one thing to know about these biases is when you read about those biases, you realize that, this has hit me. Will you be able to cover all the biases? Will you be able to protect yourself from all the biases? In fact, that is the biggest achievement that you would have got if you are able to stop yourself from those biases. So there is one bias called the Dunning-Kruger effect, which is when you feel that I know everything when you really know nothing, right? So let me read from Investopedia what they say about the Dunning-Kruger effect, and then we can talk about it. The Dunning-Kruger effect is a cognitive bias which is where unskilled individuals suffer from illusory superiority, mistakenly assessing their ability to be much higher than that is accurate, right? The feeling that, oh, I know everything, I've been in that for 13 years, so I know, that kind of a thing. The bias is attributed to a metacognitive inability of the unskilled to recognize their ineptitude. Conversely, highly skilled individuals tend to underestimate their relative competence, erroneously assuming that the tasks which are easy for them are also easy for others. This is so beautifully said. So when Kapil Dev or Sachin Tendulkar become a coach, they just can't understand why people can't play at the level at which they are playing. It is just talent, right? So the assumption that everybody should behave like that is a cognitive disability, or the Dunning-Kruger effect. Or I know one person who is also now dead, who wanted to teach Sachin Tendulkar how to bat, because Sachin Tendulkar was going through a bad phase. Somebody had to restrain him from going and showing a demonstration. You may be able to guess, but I am not naming anybody. And then another big Indian player had to hold this guy back, who is a money bags guy, and saying, boss, you don't do that. Sachin is not going to be very impressed with your batting skill. But this happens. You also see this in financial services, where a salesman who comes to you to sell unit-linked plans comes and tells you how investing X amount of premium will make sure that after 30 years you will have 13 crores, 62 lakhs, 75,412 rupees and 92 paise. And well, he tells you 30 years later this will be the figure. And you have a fund manager, you meet him on a Wednesday and ask him for the NAV on Monday, he's not going to talk to you again. He's going to say, are you mad? I don't know. So here are two people with completely different skills. I'm not even blaming the salesman. When I do sales training, I don't want him to know beyond that. I want him to believe every piece of paper that I give him, so that he does not lack conviction in talking. So that's a different thing. But typically, people with lesser skills believing that they know more than they do, and people with higher skills believing less than what they actually know, you see this effect. This is called the Dunning-Kruger effect. And of course, I give you the definition from Investopedia. You go to Investopedia, you will read more about it and saying why people do this, etc. This is one of the shortcuts when you think, oh, I'm an expert, I know this. It's wrong, and this could hurt you in your investment process, in picking up wrong stocks or not selling it quickly enough. All these things impact you because of this Dunning-Kruger effect of you overestimating your ability. Thank you.